As usual, live intro. I don't intro well. But I did have some patches made up, and I thought they were pretty cool. So I wanted to show that off with my plate carrier for my soldier. Gotta make sure your soldiers stay safe. I mean, no disrespect with that to anybody who is, was, or want to be a soldier. I'm about to set this thing down and put it behind me. Let me get rid of this now. Ah. So, I heard something today that kind of makes sense. You know, when we're talking about like the national animal, an eagle, free, independent, doesn't need anybody else, doesn't have to have associations except for with its prey. That's maybe what America started as, but that's not what it is now. I heard Glenn Beck make a reference today, and this is attributed to what I heard today and with my background of where I'm from, talking about how we're more like the bison, the American buffalo. And me being from Wyoming and that being like on the state flag, the state animal and all, you know, that's like down hometown type stuff for me to think about. But it's really true. We're in herds across America. A bunch of different herds. Some that choose to segregate themselves by ethnicity. Some that choose to segregate themselves by religious belief. Some that choose to segregate themselves by, you know, their homeland, their culture, from where they're from. There's a lot of people that can blend together, and America's really a melting pot. And I think that's where the whole eagle idea came from, is because you get a bunch of eagles together, and who's gonna fuck with that? Pardon my French. But not many people would fuck with that. The American bison, yeah, you know, you're not really gonna mess with that either. A ton plus of mass, and you get a whole bunch of them together, which Americans tend to come together when things get tough. Look at 9/11, vaccine requirements and mandates, OSHA requirements, 20% of New York City fire departments kind of shutting down and having to reallocate people to other areas because people refuse. And they won't get it. And some people have had it. Pretty sure I've had it. Haven't had an antibody test, but I don't normally get too sick, and I was sick for about a week, right around the time things started getting hairy. And I deal with the public, and I deal with people who travel internationally. And I haven't had any issues. I've had potential contact with several people that have tested positive at some point, or come in contact with somebody who tested positive. And I haven't had any issues yet, but I try and stay as healthy as I can, minus a couple of soldiers now and then. Speaking of which, cheers to law enforcement, actually all first responders, our military. You guys deal with a bunch of BS all the time that you ain't got to deal with. I want you to know that there's some Americans out there that appreciate you. So cheers to you for that. And keep up the good work. You know, some people are a little misguided and they just need a little bit of, I don't want to say re-education as far as what the roles are of your job's butt, because that would seem too socialist. How do you word that? And these are all one-cut videos, so this is going to get uploaded. It's going to have all these little soft quandaries in it. How do you term that? Being given proper information, I guess I would say. Having facts explained, because that's something that doesn't happen a lot nowadays, and that's why the word couldn't come to mind. But being really factual with the explanation of it, I think a lot of people would understand it better. But yeah, I mean, everything is community and family and country right now. Those of us who are concerned for the path of the country, we're all concerned. We're all talking to one another and trying to inform other people as to what our concerns are. What happens when you lose 20% of the police in your neighborhood? Not some other neighborhood far away, your neighborhood. Because this is going to hit everybody no matter how many people you have in your jurisdiction of whatever. You know, you're going to be losing teachers. People who work at the local grocery store are going to be losing their jobs because they're not going to want to go through with it. And it's going to go to people who have less than 100 people. Eventually. So, and we've never done it. We don't do that with the flu vaccine. And I use that term really loosely, the flu shot. And the COVID-19 vaccine is a shot that prevents you from having as bad of adverse effects. But in the same respect, you still get the virus and you still shed some of it. And, you know, there's a lot of studies that are going around. I'm not going to cite anything because I don't want any issues. And I don't monetize my videos. The worst they can do is take this off because I'm smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer. But we'll get into more than that later. Give you a little America in the bottom there. Yeah, where does it go from here? I'm all about this civil disobedience idea. Pilots are doing it right now. That stuff doesn't all go into effect until I think it's the 22nd. So it's a couple of days before Thanksgiving travel times. And I think we're going to see a lot of cancellations. There's a lot of sick outs going on where people aren't going to work. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm sick. I'm not feeling well. And they're taking a little bit of a hit here and there if they don't have the sick or vacation time to cover it. And doing whatever else they have to do. But it's ridiculous. You can't force people to do stuff like that. Especially in a Judeo-Christian nation. In myself, I refer to myself as pagan primarily because I believe everybody can believe in whatever the hell you want. You pray to whatever deity at the time. I've been in a lot of close calls in my life, and I've spoken to different deities at each individual time, depending on what the situation was. There's times where you're going to want to talk to a God of war. There's times where you're going to want to talk to Jesus and have that come to Jesus moment. There's times where you're going to want to be able to, call on Thor and just get a little bit of extra courage and determination in what you're doing. Everybody is their own person, and that's a perfectly great thing. And that's America. We're a melting pot. We're the only nation that never had a national identity other than being a melting pot. Everybody comes together. But how do you control a whole bunch of different variety of people coming together? Separate them, divide and conquer. You get all these real fucking Americans that are just really wanting to protect everybody's right to do their own thing wanting to make sure that, their children aren't being indoctrinated in any fashion in any one way or the other, and just being taught how to learn and how to investigate things and look into things for themselves and do the proper research. And I think that's really where education needs to go as far as the majority of it. But math and science shouldn't be changed to the point where they don't make sense. I mean, that's some funny stuff going on there. I don't know. I don't have kids. I don't really have a dog in the game there. But I think parents should have a hell of a choice in what their kids learn. You should learn how to balance a checkbook. A little bit of financial learning going on in high school, even middle school. Starting there would be a good idea. When I was growing up, I was in middle school, I was mowing people's lawns, I was shoveling driveways in the wintertime. It was something to do, and I was actually more of the technical type and the mechanical type, where I'd rather work on a small engine or rip apart a VCR and put it back together and get it working than I would want to do anything else. But a lot of my fixes were minor electrical mechanical fixes, jumper wire here or there, as I was growing up, and just tracing circuits. And I enjoyed that a hell of a lot more than doing physical labor and stuff. But I built a bunch of rock walls as a kid and stuff, and I was always trying to find a way to make a buck. And figuring out the economy, economics, and how to get money in and put money out. And now that I'm older in life, I've found ways to bring money in and put money into an investment and then get money out of it. My mechanical abilities, the schooling I've done, the tools I've bought over the years, the different projects I have around the house. I don't know when the last time I updated a video was, but I've got crayfish in the basement in a 75-gallon tank. I've got koi outside, plecos, goldfish in the pond. It's a 300 to 600 gallon pond. That's been going for like 3 years now. I'm sure I've done a video. I know I've uploaded videos of the pond. There's my wife's hospital tank upstairs, which has got our Fredo fish. We call him Fredo. Also known as Andrew Cuomo's little brother, Chris Cuomo. But I call him Chris, my wife calls him Fredo. And we got a couple of goldfish and a crayfish up there. But yeah, they got all sorts of stuff going on all the time. Got more lights coming for the garden. Apparently my battery's dying. But, alright, so we gotta cut this short. Beyond that, I kind of think we should start a movement to change the national animal from the eagle, which, the purity, the freedom, independence, I get all that. But I think we might have to go to the bison. Because it makes sense. You get one buffalo, yeah, you might be able to take them out in hand to hand. You get a couple of them, they're going to steamroll you. Ain't nothing you're going to do about it. The only way you can take out a bison is with exemplary marksmanship and tooling to do the job. Which is exactly why, mind you, I think the NFA and all that crap should be repealed. But that's a different note. Until next time. 73s. Everybody have a good night. Have a good year. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Do your best to make a positive impression on the world. Until we talk again. Be safe. Stay crafty.